ho, ho, everyone, Toy Shiz here, and we are back yet again for yet another Marvel Legends video. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, I'm glad to have you here, because underneath my tree this year was a nice new wave of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Secret Wars action figure line. Now, the very first figure that we're going to be checking out today is the one, the only, the long overdue, the Beyonder, and that Secret Wars logo looks oh so crisp and good. All of these are on a very thick card back, which is nice, and you also get to see the figures, and yes, you will have to destroy the packaging to get them out. Speaking of the packaging, it very much is a nostalgic throwback to the days of Mattel. Marvel Superhero Secret Wars 40th anniversary for 2025, and you can screen grab this if you want to read up on Marvel's Beyonder. Here's every single character in the very first wave here, and yes, they included those old lithographs, which I'm very shocked by. Here's the barcode. Mine came from Target. They hit a little bit early a couple weeks back, but if you need the barcode for any of the characters when they start to hit shelves a lot more, well, here you go. You are all set. Now, the second character for the Secret Wars wave is a familiar face from the side of the X-Men, and of course, I'm talking about the brown costume Wolverine. Love the colors on this guy. You can screen grab this if you'd like. Next up, we have Tony Stark as Iron Man, and you can't have a Secret Wars toy line without Iron Man. And wait a minute, if you look a little closer, is that Tony Stark? I think that the bio briefly mentions that. More on that in just a few. We also have a newcomer to Marvel Legends in general. I love it when they do that. We have Titania, Dr. Doom's little pet project using the powers of the Beyonder. And then we definitely have a cool one here. It's the one that everyone's going to want. Trust me on that. We have the alien costume Spider-Man, which, whew, he looks good. We already have a dozen of them, but it's always nice to get another one, right? Who are we kidding? And last but not least, we have the one, the only Steve Rogers, also known as the Great Captain America. Love the colors on this guy. And of course, just like all the others, you can read up on old Cap. Now, this, I promise, is going to be an absolute blast for Christmas Day. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, sit by that old fireplace, and enjoy your time here with me. This is a look at the brand new first wave of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Secret Wars for the 40th anniversary. And just before we get started, think of this as a part one. I will be having a second part that looks at Secret Wars in terms of the old Mattel line, but using Marvel Legends. Those will be coming soon because, believe it or not, I don't have Constrictor. I know, shame on you, Toy Shiz, but every other character I have, but I just thought it would be a lot better and a lot more comprehensive, so expect that later in 2025. Now, first and foremost, we have the Beyonder, the great mystical entity that causes the Secret Wars. And of course, you get a little cardboard cutout, which is on a thicker cardstock, and that is what you're going to be using inside his little lithograph shield, which I love. I love that they included that before they revealed this wave. It kind of knew that these were coming, but we were talking about it with a friend, and I go, do you think they're going to include anything from the Mattel? Oh, no, I don't think so. I didn't think so, but I'm so glad they included these. This is very cool. And they open up to which, if you want to remove that cool lithograph, and this is across the board on every single figure, you can then replace it with this for the Secret Wars 40th anniversary. So you can swap at your leisure. That's pretty cool. I totally dig it. I love the artwork. Thumbs up for that inclusion. Now, you do get a pair of fists for the Beyonder, not all that crazy, but you do get a recreation of Battle World. So you have the broken parts of the world. You got Denver, which Spider-Woman's hanging out in, along with Volcana and Titania. And yes, the Beyonder, with his open hands, can definitely hold it, manifest it, look over it like the weirdo that he is. And speaking of this weirdo, he's pretty cool overall. I can't say that this was the actual look for the Beyonder I was looking for. I would love to see the Spider-Man, the animated series version of the Beyonder one day. Keep in mind, this Beyonder is basically Secret Wars 2. And that's because in Secret Wars, you really only know of him by name. You never really see him. He's more of this cosmic entity. It's not until Secret Wars 2 that he takes this look and becomes basically a pest. All of the, we'll say, quote unquote, gods and entities in the Marvel Universe always seem to be pain in the giant butts of everyone on Earth and every other planet. But the articulation is updated. It's beautiful. It's got all the pinless joints that you want. The head portrait is okay, but regardless, I'm happy to have the Beyonder because, lo and behold, he has called all the superheroes to his battle world planet because he wants to have a little contest. You see, a battle that decides the winner, the outcome of good versus evil. And every single character, and I know Wasp and Rogue are not in the right costumes. You don't need to tell me they need to make Wasp, and I haven't gotten the Rogue one from Amazon just yet. But how awesome does this look all set up? That is the comic book panel brought to life. My God, if you have collected Marvel Legends as long as I have, you should have this. That is spectacular. But lo and behold, it's not just the heroes that have been invited to this battle world because we also have a cadre of villains. And it's the nastiest villains from 1985. And it's all over the place in terms of the selection, but it's a lot of fun as well. Like the Lizard, who would have guessed it? But fans of Spider-Man, the animated series, you know who belongs here, who doesn't. But I definitely like that, again, after collecting, after all these years, for the most part, yeah, I'm able to put in every single villain in the book, except for the Wrecking Crew. Yes, I need to get on those. Hasbro re-released those in a giant multi-pack, por favor. Now, of course, the heroes, the new ones that you're going to be seeing here today, Captain America, Wolverine, and Iron Man. To kick it off with Cap, he too comes with his lenticular old school Mattel shield. He does come with a variety of extra hands, finger pointing, weapon holding, and then you get an extra head portrait, which I'm going to be honest with you. This head portrait with the grit and teeth definitely works. You have to get it in the right position, the right stance for it to work appropriately. And he also comes with the broken shield because that dang old Doctor Doom, well, he harnessed the powers of the Beyonder and broke Cap's indestructible shield. Now, I'm with you. I would have loved to have seen 2 shields, but I like that they put this in there because they're really going for Secret Wars. They're really pushing the envelope here. And by now, if you've collected Marvel Legends, you should have another Captain America with a shield you can use. Cap, I love the colors. Bright blue, the reds, the head portraits, I'll be flat out honest. They're not my favorite. I would love to see a redo, maybe a bit more, for me, on model. They're not bad by any means. It's just not wowing me. But the colors, the white to the red, everything is painted beautifully. So for that, I'm very appreciative because, yes, I'm nitpicking. It's just my personal tastes. But I love the articulation. He's all pinless. He stands out. It's one of the most beautiful Captain America figures that they have made to date. Well done. Now, moving on to Iron Man, you have Iron Man's lenticular that goes back and forth to Tony Stark. But keep in mind, at this point, James Rhodes and Tony Stark were swapping out who was in the Iron Man armor, and when he was taken, yeah, it was definitely James Rhodes. He also comes with a pair of Iron Man roller skates. No, unfortunately, the wheels do not move, but they're pretty darn cool. He comes with a variety of extra hands, including one weapon-holding hand, of which, yes, you get the original blaster that came with the Mattel Secret Wars Iron Man. And I think that that is a really nice touch because you also get some blast effects, which you can put on the gun or on his heels. And then you also have some smoke effects, which will clip in either to his hands or his heels or the gun, whatever you want to do. The rollerblades are just one of my favorites. It's very old school. The blaster with the blast effects, awesome. Overall, this Iron Man is very cool. I definitely dig it, but I do have some nitpicks that could have improved upon it, if anything. Now, do keep in mind, like I said, Rhodey is underneath the helmet. It's kind of hinted at with Mr. Fantastic doing some diagnostics. The little core reactor in the middle could have used some yellow paint, a little bit more to it. That does look nice, though. I like the little shades of white. The armor, overall, very bright, very colorful, very toyetic. But if I'm being honest, on the shoulders, those could have been a little higher. The little discs that go around that lead out to his shoulder blades. That would be really my only critique, other than the arc reactor in the middle glowing just a little bit differently. it's a pretty solid Iron Man. And of course, we're going to move on to another fan favorite, one of my favorites from the wave. We have Logan as Wolverine. None of that James Howlett stuff that wasn't around back then. Logan pops his claws, looks all cool on this lenticular. Speaking of which, the claws are absent on his fisted hands. Nice touch. This head portrait, not for me. I don't think it looks good. It's just very odd. It's very pursed in the face and the lips. Doesn't look too good to me. But this right here, the colors, the mask, the snicked out claws, that's what I'm talking about. He's also kind of X-Men 97 too. But I love that just overall, the look, the little smirk, the pointiness of his two Batman kissings cowl, that just looks awesome. And I love the 5 o'clock shadow that he's got going on. All of the arm hair on his arms really stands out. That's a nice touch. That's what we want to see for some collector action figures. The yellow is gorgeous amidst the black and the brown, the lighter brown of the gloves, the red belt, plenty of articulation, all pinless, and he's the appropriate size for Wolverine. This is a knockout Wolverine besides the extra head portrait. Well done. Now, at this point, Dr. Doom, he's harnessing the power of the Beyonder. And he's like, well, you know, I'm going to go to Denver, which showed up in Battle World, and I'm going to create my own supervillains. And he creates Titania and Volcana. Unfortunately, we only have Titania so far. Hopefully, we get Volcana, but she too comes with the lenticular cover. I like that a lot. Looks great. She also comes with some extra hands, these ones being some open grabby hands, and Titania herself, I gotta say, it's always awesome, just like the Beyonder, to have some new characters, some new blood for the Marvel Legends line. Quite the body type. It's awesome. It's very cool. She's got peg holes on the bottom. She's got spikes all over her boots, the sides of her arms, the big T on her chest. You can't miss it. The hair, the head portrait, everything is stellar, and the articulation is exactly what you would think for Marvel Legends. Now, if you didn't know, her power is basically that she's super strong. She kind of likes the Absorbing Man, just as a heads up. Who knows why? But again, plenty of articulation for this chick. And man, fingers crossed, we do get Volcana to round out the twosome. Now, keep in mind, she doesn't really like She-Hulk, and the Absorbing Man doesn't really like the Hulk. So you can definitely pair these up and have a little Secret Wars on your shelf. But in that battle on your shelf, of course, a bunch of the heroes got their costumes all torn up, including Spider-Man, and he needs a new pair of duds. And amidst the chaos, there comes a costume. And how awesome does this alien costume, black suit Spider-Man look? They really did a nice job on this amidst a few things here and there. Well, we'll talk about that. Now, first and foremost, of course, he's got that awesome lenticular. Now, do keep in mind of the eyes. I'm just going to point that out. That is something that I feel like this Spider-Man is missing. Now, the white triangles on all of the hands is accurate to Secret Wars. That's when we first see the alien costume. And you got flipping hands, wall-crawling hands, and some fisted hands. Now, the extra head portrait is a little bit more with the eyes of what I'm talking about. I do like this head portrait, but it's less Secret Wars and more Back in Black when it's not the alien costume anymore. It's just a black costume, and Spider-Man goes up against the Kingpin and all of that. The actual figure itself, though, hot dang, that's a good looking black costume Spider-Man if you don't have one. For those of you that do and have many, much like myself, you will see a lot of greatness here. But again, it is just another alien costume Spider-Man. But I like it. It's always nice to get another one. But I did notice, again, with the eyes, if you have the animated series black costume Spider-Man, it will have some blue on the face, but those are the eyes I'm looking for. Unfortunately, I feel like this head portrait is okay from afar, but it's a little bit too big for this body. The body type is brand new. It's a little bit smaller than other releases for Spider-Man, but you do get a heck of a lot of articulation. Minus the toes. I think that would be the only thing that's missing, because everything else allows him to be very flexible, very articulated. You should have no problems with this figure if you are one of those articulation snobs. So from the feet to the elbows to the knees to the hips, everything and anything on this figure works really well. And again, it's just a really cool Secret Wars-ish black costume Spider-Man. If they had just had that one head portrait that had those definite eyes, but I would love to have seen the exact eyes from the cover of Secret Wars 8, heck, maybe even some spider sense, that would have been cool as well. So, that is going to wrap it up for my quick Christmas look at the brand new first wave of the Hasbro Marvel Legends Secret Wars for their 40th anniversary. And like I said, if you've been collecting Marvel Legends as long as I have, you'll definitely be able to have pretty much every single character. Maybe more than me, especially if you have the Wrecking Crew, but this is fantastic. It's a lot of fun. Secret Wars, before my time, basically, but as I was growing up reading comic books, it was everywhere. It was so prevalent. It was the thing to talk about because so much changed in the Marvel Universe as a result of Secret Wars. So to have this first wave, a little wink and a nod to the original Mattels, and doing its own Marvel Legends thing, it's a fantastic wave. Definitely pick it up if you can. But as always, you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything Secret Wars. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, to you and yours, have a very Merry Christmas. Live it up, do something awesome, and I'll see you guys back here in the new year. And when we do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Spider-Woman somewhere in the background.